Grand Rising and welcome to New Mind, where our intention is clear and is to share information for transformation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to listen, to watch this on YouTube, wherever you are in the world. I really appreciate you being here, listening to these principles. So again, I say this every episode, make sure if you listen to the other principles, they're not in a particular order, but I just want you to extract that information, extract this data that I've worked very hard over the years, learning from traders, seeing what works, what doesn't work. And I'm almost trying to summarize the principles that will help you become a more profitable and more successful trader and happier in your life in general, right? Because they all interconnect with your identity. So let's move into principle number 5. And to be honest, this is one of the most powerful principles because it's something that you can and can't measure, but it's something that I've seen over the years, and it's really, really powerful. And it is trusting intuition, the inner compass of a master trader. Now, intuition is really powerful because it's an extra layer of intelligence. And it's really important when I say it's an extra layer of intelligence. Think about it like a seventh sense, sixth sense, seventh sense. We've got more than 5 senses, just FYI. But some of the best traders and some of the best trades, honestly speaking, when you really think about it, they don't come from analysis overload. They come from a quiet inner knowing, this intuition that we speak of, right? And when I say intuition, it's nice because I want you to reflect if you understand. Well, first of all, reflect if you feel that you have that intuition, that inner compass. But what is intuition? If I wanted to define that for my listeners and viewers here, think about intuition as a subconscious processing of data that your mind can't consciously compute, right? So I'll say this one more time. Think about it as subconscious or unconscious processing of data that your mind can't consciously compute. It's like almost happening with flow. It's always there. And it's not mystical. A lot of people, when they think about intuition, they think it's like a mystical or a spiritual thing. No, it's really pattern recognition at speed. I'll repeat that one more time. Intuition, it's almost pattern recognition at speed. And something inside of you, some people call it this gut feeling, right? But something inside of you would say to you, okay, this seems right. I need to take this trade. I don't know, I don't have all the answers, but I just have conviction from my previous one. But also I have this sense of knowing. And intuition best works when you've put in the reps, you've done the screen times, the hours, the practice, the journaling. These aspects, these behaviors, these routines, or whatever you want to call them, they add to sharpening your intuition. So the more you do the work, the more your intuition improves, and the more this relationship, this inner compass, this inner knowing of when to step away from a trade versus when to enter a trade, backed by data, but there's additional layers as well. It's patterns, right? So unfortunately, a lot of traders I've worked with over the time, they sometimes overanalyze. And this is really an important aspect, not talked about a lot in the industry, at least from a coaching perspective, but they overanalyze. And what they do when they overanalyze, they actually draw down their intuition out. They almost drown it. They almost switch it off, this inner compass. And it's important. So ask yourself, do you overanalyze? Do yes, you have to do the work and learn and get the skill set, but overanalyzing, again, it's a paradox. It actually shuts down that intuition. So when you think about intuition, I want you to think about it that it has an internal dialogue, internal communication, and it almost is like a feeling in the body. It's a sense of differentiating between expansion and tension, or, for example, ease or heaviness. That's how the intuition, which is subconscious, speaks to us. Because remember, your unconscious mind, i.e. is your body, the language of the body is through emotion, through impulse, through inner impulses, inner emotions, expansion, ease, anxiety, heaviness. all of that is the body, which is the unconscious mind, speaking to you about something outside of you. And I can go really deep into the rabbit hole of intuition, because you can walk into a room and something intuitively tells you something's off, right? That is your subconscious mind reading the patterns, energetically speaking, as well as through the other senses, which feeds you back that inner knowing, that gut feeling, that intuition, right? And I found that traders that have strong intuition, from working with them for over the years, have been the ones that have more edge. So ask yourself, as I speak now, as you watch this or listen to this, do you feel you have strong intuition? And sometimes traders tend to ignore that intuition. And the more you ignore that intuition, you end up making it quieter. And the quieter it gets, which means you don't really hear it anymore. But the more you act on the intuition, which is the opposite actually, the sharper it becomes. Because now you're developing an internal relationship with yourself, with your intuition, with that compass. And it's really very powerful, guys, because when you my message here is, first of all, gauge if you feel that you have a strong intuition or not. And if you do, great, then double down on that, work on it, develop it even more. But if you feel you don't, then that's the signal for you, and it's the sign for you to start quieting down, stepping away, doing some inner work or meditation or quiet place to just reconnect with yourself, reconnect with that part. And it's important that we keep a balance. Logic and intuition must somehow dance together. You don't want to throw one out of the equation, but you need both. You really need both. And, what I've seen, unfortunately, we're working over the years with traders that are part of communities and chat rooms and social media rooms. And, there's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of fear sometimes, and there's a lot of hype sometimes. And unfortunately, those environments, they block your intuition because they confuse you. They distort things to you. So my message to you is to make time, carve out time in your day and sit in silence. Journaling, stillness, meditation. These are the practices that will grow your intuition, because intuition grows in silence. I'll repeat that one more time. Intuition grows in silence. It doesn't grow in chat rooms and noises and he said, she said, all that hype. So understanding that is super, super important. I always tell my traders that you have to do that part of work, because think about it, having an inner compass in what you do as a trader is going to be your top advantage. And it also signals conviction and trust in yourself, because it's all about the relationship with yourself. It really is. And I'm just trying to, again, reiterate this, because these things are overlooked in our industry or in the space of traders. When people talk about trading psychology, they just go to specific things like journaling, this or that. Yeah, okay, these are great, but there's more deeper work to be done, and there's more areas that, if given a bit of TLC, they will improve, and they will be dramatic in shifting you into becoming a better version of yourself and a better trader. And sometimes intuition equals knowing when not to trade, right? Think about this. Intuition also equals knowing when not to trade. So if something is off, you want to listen to that part of you that's like, you know what, today's not my day. I just don't feel good about the market. I don't feel good about myself. I feel something's going to go wrong. And when you don't listen to that part of you, and you just want to move into fear of missing out, and you just have this habit of sitting and entering trades for the sake of entering trades or forcing trades, that's you going against your intuition. That's you going against your will. That's against the compass, your inner compass. So this is what I'm referring to as an example. And I want you, my beautiful listener, part of this movement, part of the new mind elevation, to have a very strong intuition in what you're doing. Because if you have a strong intuition in your trading, believe me, that's just one part of it. It will help you in all aspects of life, in everything you do. Having strong intuition becomes your inner compass in life, guiding you to do the right thing for yourself and protecting you from the errors and mistakes that you might end up repeating or not learning from before. So always understanding that there is a higher power within you that is your inner compass, that is there. It's just that even if you don't feel it or hear it, it's just because you unconsciously, not with intention, but you blocked it. You there's too much noise in your life. So cutting out the noise is action insight number one. Carving out time, even if it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes a day, to do something that will elevate your intuition, like sitting in silence, like meditation, like journaling, like just being, and then asking yourself certain things. Usually, when you ask yourself something in silence, in quiet, once you quiet the mind, the first thing that comes up is your unconscious mind. It's part of that intuition, that inner compass. That's always going to give you the truth. It's always going to tell you what it is and how it is and where you're at and what is important to you. I always say this, guys, traders lose money because they override their gut feeling with the shoulds. I should do this and I should do that and da. So that ends up destroying their confidence because they're making too many errors. But the reason they're making those errors is because they're also not listening to their intuition. They're not listening to their inner compass. They override it. They override that gut feeling. And I'm sure if you're listening or watching to this, probably happened to you in other parts of your life. It doesn't have to be only in trading. It could be in relationships. It could be in other aspects of your life. There's always that deeper voice that's within you, that inner compass, that's telling you what you should be doing right versus what you should not be doing. And when we override it, when we don't listen to it, we unfortunately get the outcome for that action. And usually that outcome isn't what we want. I've been very, very blessed to work with CEOs, high performers over the years here in Dubai and around the world. And all of these guys that are really, really successful entrepreneurs, these leaders, they rely on intuition. They really do. And in my opinion, when I see that, and when I see the bridge in trading as well, traders must also rely on that intuition, because it's going to serve them. It's going to create an extra layer of mind, an extra layer of intelligence, of guidance. So why would you not want to sharpen your intuition? Why would you not want to have this extra support that's coming from within you? Coming from within you. And that is the best advices that you get is usually from yourself, not from others, but it's from the deeper self, not from the ego, not from fear, but from a place of stillness, from a place of trust, from a place of knowing. Again, we call this the inner compass of who you are. So that inner compass that's built in, we all have it. None of you can say, oh, I don't have intuition, I just, operate on. No. You've just quieted it down. But this is why this principle is a reminder for you to work on developing and sharpening your intuition. And there's, of course, work that to be done. Like in my line of work, there are certain interventions that I do and certain emotional releases that almost gets rid of the fear and then gets that intuition back online and really like loud and clear, right? Because we want that loud and clear inner voice, inner compass, inner intuition as a support structure to our journey in life, to being profitable in trading, to being successful, to creating a life of freedom, whatever it is, whatever your mission is, whatever success in your mind, how you perceive it, you need your intuition. You need this inner compass as a trader or even a non-trader. As you know, my conversation is for traders, but it's for everyone else. It's all the same. So guys, may this be a gentle reminder to reflect, see where you're at with your intuition, and start to work on developing it. And if you guys want more information on this, DM me, reach out to me, comment, share. I'm here to support you, to give you even more insight on this. But let this just be a simple reminder and principle to have that in your life, because if you do, and if your inner compass is powerful, that intuition, guaranteed you will perform better in life and in trading. So again, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this podcast on YouTube or listen to this on the streaming channels, whatever streaming channels you're on. I want to wish you an amazing day, night, wherever you are in this world. Thank you so much for taking the time. Much love and positive energy.